Welcome back to Top 5.
Brian Schaefer's disappearance, 2006. Brian Schaefer, a 27-year-old medical student at Ohio State University, was known for his bubbly personality and passion for life. On the evening of April 1, 2006, he went out with friends to celebrate the beginning of spring break at a popular on-campus bar, the Ugly Tuna Saloon. As the night progressed, Brian's friends noticed he was engaging and sociable, talking to two women inside the bar. The last known sighting of him was captured on surveillance footage at approximately 2 a.m. as he entered the bar, laughing and joking. However, what transpired next is perplexing. Despite extensive video surveillance, no footage exists of Brian leaving the bar. The Ugly Tuna had two exits, but one was locked and unusable at the time for public access, leading investigators to conclude that he must have exited through the main entrance. This conclusion raises unsettling questions. Could he have somehow evaded the cameras in a moment of chaos, or is there a more sinister explanation for his disappearance? When news broke of his disappearance, search parties were formed, and the community rallied together. Dozens of volunteers combed through nearby parks and neighborhoods, and a vast online community sprang into action, digging into every possible lead. Despite their efforts, the searches yielded no credible evidence or sightings of Brian. Even with national media coverage and tips rolling in from across the country, nothing has surfaced that could explain how a young man with so much to live for could simply vanish in the blink of an eye. The haunting thought that he may have slipped into an alternate reality within the space of a bustling bar, with friends and acquaintances just feet away, leaves many to ponder the darkest possibilities. 4. The Setagaya Family Murder, 2000. The grisly murder of the Miyazawa family in Setagaya, Tokyo, on December 30, 2000, remains one of Japan's most unsettling and enigmatic crimes. The Miyazawas consisted of a married couple, their 8-year-old daughter, and their 6-year-old son. On that fateful night, the perpetrator entered their home while they were all asleep, committing a heinous act that shook the community. After the murders, the killer did not flee immediately. Instead, he exhibited disturbing behavior that made this case all the more chilling. In the hours following the crime, the murderer helped himself to food from the family's kitchen, consuming ice cream and drinking barley tea. Reports detail that he even sat down to use the family's computer, browsing the internet. At one point, he might have even taken a nap on the living room sofa. This bizarre invasion of comfort and normalcy magnified the horror of the crime. Not only did a killer invade their sanctuary, but he also lingered, taunting the very essence of family life. Despite extensive forensic analysis and the discovery of numerous pieces of evidence, including DNA, shoe prints, and the remnants of the killer's meal, law enforcement has not been able to identify the suspect. The case received widespread media coverage, and even a reward was offered for information, yet the identity of the murderer remains a mystery. The notion that a person could wreak havoc so casually in a family home without ever facing justice haunts the victim's relatives and the local community. The psychological impact lingers, creating an atmosphere of unease that transcends the physical realities of crime, a nightmare that echoes in the silence of the home the Miyazawas once filled with warmth and laughter. 3. Lars Middink's Vanishing Act, 2014. Lars Middink, a 28-year-old German man, embarked on a vacation with friends to Bulgaria in 2014, but his journey took a dark and terrifying turn. Following a minor physical altercation with his friends, Lars sustained an injury to his eardrum, which forced him to stay behind while the rest of his group returned home. Left alone, his mental state began to deteriorate. Just days before his planned departure back to Germany, Lars made a panic-stricken phone call to his mother, pleading with her to cancel his bank cards because he believed that people were following him, intent on causing him harm. On the day of his flight, as he walked through the Varna airport, Lars's anxiety escalated to a point of hysteria. Witnesses reported seeing him agitated and looking over his shoulder. Suddenly, he dashed out of the airport in a state of fright, sprinting away without a clear destination, leaving behind all of his belongings. CCTV footage captures this frantic moment, illustrating a young man consumed by fear that seemed to have no foundation yet felt utterly real to him. Despite searches in the surrounding forest and nearby areas, Lars's trail vanished as abruptly as he did, and within days, he became one of the most troubling disappearances in recent memory. The investigation turned up no clues, no sightings, and no evidence of his whereabouts, raising alarming questions about mental health, fear-induced behavior, and the lengths to which a person may go to escape a perceived threat. Lars's fate remained shrouded in mystery, leaving his family and friends in anguish, yearning for closure in the face of unending uncertainty. 2. JonBenet Ramsey's murder, 1996. The case of JonBenet Ramsey, who was only 6 years old when she was tragically murdered, has haunted America since December 26, 1996. The young beauty queen was reported missing from her home in Boulder, Colorado, early one morning when her parents found a 3-page ransom note demanding an exorbitant sum of money for her safe return. As the hours ticked away and the police searched for her, a grim discovery was made within the family's own home. JonBenet was found dead in the basement, having been strangled and suffering from a head injury. The details surrounding the case are steeped in vigilance and mystery. The ransom note itself raised eyebrows, with many speculating whether it had been penned by a killer or a family member. The shocking realization that their daughter had been killed mere hours after the note was discovered turned the Ramsey home into a battleground of suspicion and media frenzy. Despite the presence of law enforcement and a host of detectives, no one was ever charged with JonBenet's murder, leading to rampant speculation about the involvement of her family, amidst a backdrop of intruders and conspiracies. Over the years, numerous theories have circulated, including potential family involvement, abduction by an outsider, and even connection to child pageantry gone awry. The investigation has drawn vast public attention, leaving people questioning how such a heinous crime could occur without justice for such an innocent victim. The complexities of the case, coupled with its tragic implications and the unyielding spotlight on the Ramsey family, ensure that JonBenet's story remains a deeply unsettling unsolved mystery. 1. Mr. Cruel, The Chilling Encounters, 1987 to 1991. Topping the list is the infamous case of Mr. Cruel, a shadowy figure who terrorized Melbourne, Australia, during the late 1980s and early 1990s. This unidentified monster is believed to have abducted at least 4 young girls, all while their families were left helplessly bound and witnessing the horror unfold in their homes. The sheer audacity and cruelty of his crimes have left a chilling legacy that continues to haunt not only the victims but also the entire community. Mr. Cruel was known for his calculated and sinister methods. He would selectively target families, carrying out his attacks at night when they were most vulnerable. The perpetrator would tie up the parents and siblings before snatching girls as young as 11 years old. He held them captive for hours, subjecting them to unimaginable horrors. The brutality of these encounters is compounded by the fact that Mr. Cruel was never caught. He left behind no significant forensic evidence, which means the police have had little to work with, apart from a haunting police composite sketch that offers no real clues about his identity. As the years passed without any concrete leads, the fear that Mr. Cruel could return, or that other similar predators might follow in his footsteps, compounded the anxiety within the Melbourne community. Despite extensive media campaigns and public appeals for information, Mr. Cruel's identity remains unknown, and the mystery of the unspeakable acts he committed continues to evoke terror. His story serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk behind closed doors, the very thin veil between safety and horror that can be ripped apart in an instant. The legacy of Mr. Cruel lives on in the collective memory of those who hear the chilling tales, a permanent fixture in the minds of the community and a painful echo of the innocence lost. Welcome to the Top 5 community. We're thrilled to have you here. As you may know, we've discontinued our Reddit and Patreon pages to focus solely on our amazing Facebook group and Discord server. Join our Facebook group to catch exclusive content before anyone else and connect with fellow fans.